Chapter 10. Does God exist? Scientists and theologians still are at odds with each other regarding this eternal issue. Science has no concrete proof, so they have not answered this question positively. Religions, however, do have some abstract proofs, so they suggest that humans take a leap of faith regarding the existence of God. If we agree that we did not create ourselves, then we can surely admit that someone else, God, must definitely have created us. So, God does exist. Is God form or formless? Idol worship was introduced for humans to easily identify God with a form and face. Hence, many think of God as an ancient physical person with a white beard watching us from the sky to judge and punish us for our sins. In contrast, other seekers perceive our Creator as an invisible and formless entity who controls us through our karmic actions. Religions whose main doctrine is reincarnation fully believe in a divinity that is spiritual and formless. But until we come across some tangible proof of God's physical presence, He may be considered as spiritual, formless divinity. Where does God reside? Devoted humans have built temples, mosques, monasteries, and churches and idols for God to reside. They have researched far and wide and yet failed to meet Him in a physical form in the outside world. However, a holistic spiritual approach to seek Him inside ourselves in meditation or silent reflections seem to give us some abstract results of His presence inside our body. Christ referred to the body as the temple of living God. Sikh Guru Nanak referred to the body as the Hari Mandir, meaning residence of the Lord. Messenger of God and ancient sages refer to God as the soul which resides in the human body. Many religions believe and preach that the human body is the shrine of God and that His altar is located between our eyebrows. Our Creator has intelligently put a thin veil of ignorance and a heavy curtain of ego between Him and us. The Creator has thus managed to hide openly and reside within His creation. Are there proofs of God based on logic? Humans first saw and felt some signs of God by looking up in the sky. They saw the sun, the moon, and other celestial bodies as the visible symbols of the invisible and formless God. They experienced air and rain, which were vital for their survival. Hence, humans started to believe in the theory that there must be a godlike divinity entity who had set these complicated creations of planets, universe, galaxies, and other wonders of nature in motion. The creation and the entire universe were already waiting for humans when they arrived on earth. Then, logically speaking, someone else, that is God, must be responsible for this vast and wonderful creation. Saint Thomas Aquinas, born 1225 to 1274, an Italian Dominican friar philosopher, Catholic priest, is arguably considered the most important Catholic theologian in history. His major work, Summa Theologica, is widely considered the highest achievement of medieval systematic theology. According to him, as per logic, there are at least 5 ways to prove God's existence. Because God, the prime mover. Thomas' first way involves the evidence of motion. Every moving thing, including our planet, universes, must have needed a prime mover. So God is the prime mover. God as the first cause. God is intelligence and the material factor of the universe. The series of causes and effects that we see globally must have a beginning to make sense. God here can be considered to be the first cause. God as a necessary being. The third way notes that every existing thing does not owe its existence to itself. However, if all items are contingent, there could not have been anything at one time. All this could be non-existent. To account for all the existence, God must be the necessary being. God as the absolute being. The fourth way shows that such graduation are as nobler and less noble, truer or less true, implies the existence of an absolute being as a datum for relative gradation. So he must be the absolute being. God, the grand designer. The fifth way argues that the conclusion of four methods and the behavior of things in the universe strongly imply that God has to be the grand designer or the architect of our universe. But supposing, for a moment, if we were to just imagine that God does not exist, then human beings would have to assume that they themselves have created this vast and complicated universe. However, this could not be true because the universe was already created much before the advent of humanity. So again, if we were to follow logic, it would suggest that an unknown alien of whom we know nothing about could be our creator. The research that we have done for centuries about physical or spiritual divinity then will have to go to waste. Of course, this wild idea that God does not exist will then give birth to many questions which have no logical or spiritual explanation. This will result in spiritual chaos. So even to assume for a second that God does not exist seems like a far-fetched thought. Ergo, God does exist. Until and unless we get some other proof, let us laugh at the divine confusion, smile through the cosmic tears, be strong and keep reminding yourself that everything that is happening with you and in the universe has some divine reasons, as quoted by John Mayer. Can we understand God and achieve Him in this lifetime? We often become slaves to our endless desires, and until such time our sixth divine element will not awaken, we cannot finish this journey of humanity to divinity. As per Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 and Buddhism, to seek Him, we must gain knowledge about the divine in the scriptures, seek the divine in meditation. If all fails, then dedicate your action to the divine and try to become His servant or His messenger. Then alone we may understand His mystery and achieve divinity in this lifetime. If not, the same divinity does grant us a second chance in the form of reincarnations. What does God expect from us? For eons, our benevolent Father has been unconditionally giving us vital things for our survival without demanding any payment. He has done His duty by abundantly filling up Mother Nature. He has been freely providing these treasures of nature for humanity. God has never specified that all His gifts like sunshine, moonlight, rain, and air are exclusive to any established religion. So why should any religion try to imply a monopoly on God? God gives and gives, while humans gets and forgets. He does not expect any material things from us. He may expect us to remember Him in prayers. If God could speak, He would expect religions to be tolerant about each other's outer differences, like caste, creed, rich, poor, skin color, gender, and other exterior facial differences, and even different countries. He will expect different religions and countries to realize that they are just different names or paths that eventually lead to the same divinity. he would imply that there is the same divinity within every living creature. The divine would expect humans to start serving their elderly parents, the destitute, and especially the physically challenged by seeing the divinity in them. He would want humans to stay as one human family, together, without fighting, to prove that one is more superior to the other. Finally, for humans to honor the universal divinity and not to exploit Mother Nature. Heavenly standards are different from that of humans. As a responsible father, God would expect the same from his children so he can be proud of them on earth. Humans, though, are not benevolent as their Father in heaven, as they give nothing for free. They charge for water, air in oxygen tanks, and electricity connected with a meter. As the human body is a shrine, keep the human body healthy and fit. We should not abuse the body with alcohol and drug substances or stuff yourself with junk food. We should become spiritual and try to seek divinity on earth. We should develop an attitude of thankfulness, like a sweet, juicy orange for whatever you have received. But do not complain. Do not have a complaining nature, like a sour lime when we see others enjoying themselves. He would expect humans to follow all the dogmas, the do's and don'ts of their respective faiths. He would want humans to imbibe themselves with qualities from the lifestyle of all the prophets or saints, such as to keep away from sins, vices, or temptations of the devil, to develop divine qualities like loving, forgiving, compassion, and empathy, to put a smile on everyone's face and not to be a reason for their tears in the eyes, and to be his worthy children. Leave a good legacy for our next generation to follow. Let our epitaph be read as he was a messenger or a servant of God. Our benevolent Father always gives us second chance in the form of reincarnation until we find the right way to salvation. Tips for seeking the divine. Light a lamp or a candle of our energy as a symbol of our energy in front of your deity with a serene and tranquil mind. Utter simple prayers coming from the heart blended with truth or any group song or dance. Religious music can be your path to God. Offer an ego-free, humble heart full of love, mercy, compassion, forgiveness, empathy, and adopt a tolerable nature towards every religion and country and human beings. Get first-hand knowledge of scriptures and information about God. We may be Christians or Muslims, Hindus or Buddhists by religion, but our moral value should be of humanity, love, compassion, and non-violence. Usher in the positive energy as we desperately seek divine solution. Meditate or reflect on that acquired knowledge and info. Unconditional trust to the sixth element will be reciprocated by unconditional blessing. Our divine goal is to help our fellow brethren in need and become the messengers of God. Become the benevolent giver and try to be the worthy messenger of God. Offer total unconditional surrender by accepting God as your boss. As He is your boss, so receive the rewards or punishment for our good and bad deeds from Him. Someday everything will make sense. All your actions should be dedicated to the divine. By bringing this feeling into your daily life, the positive energy will prevail over the negative energies. The best solution is to surrender ourselves and fully trust the director of our destiny and let His will and not our will be done because He knows best. We will learn to always use our eyes not in criticizing but in seeing the goodness in others. To use our ears not to become emotionally sensitive but listen attentively and believe the good qualities of others. To use our mouth not to criticize or gossip but always to speak the truth. Our feet should often bring us to the place of worship, rather than the sites offering temptations of all kinds. Our hand should not be used for violence or punishment, but rather to serve others by doing more generous charity acts. After reading this book, suppose we were to agree that there is only one God. As we progress along this spiritual moral path, we will see no rivals and become more tolerant of all humans as one family or race. Then this will surely enhance the quality progress of moral values from individuals to families, families to cities, cities to states, states to countries, and finally from countries to the whole planet. Tolerance in religion can lead to world peace. If you want to change the world, then the first person you must change is yourself, and your wish will come true. Joke time! Government employee. A government employee decides to clean his old file cabinet. He finds an old dirty oriental type of lamp and cleans it with a rag. As he rubs the lamp, suddenly a genie appears in front of him. A genie says, "Thank you, master. You have set me free. I grant you 3 wishes." Employee, just to test him, "Give me 10,000 in cash." Genie, "As you wish, master," blinks his eyes. Poof, here is your 10,000 in cash. What is your second wish? Employee, now convinced, wishes for something bigger. "I wish to be on an island where beautiful women want to love me forever." Genie, "As you wish, master." Poof, he finds himself on a fantasy island and he asks, "What is your third and last wish, master?" Employee, "I wish I would be in an office where I am paid for no work." Genie, "Are you sure, master?" Said, "Yes." "As you wish, master." Poof, the employee finds himself back in the same government office.